How's it, guys? I got a few questions on the site about a few different things about maintaining this joystick. So, rather than just skip now to those things, I found better ways of doing it. So I'm just going to start from the beginning and then rather follow this video than the other one, because there are better ways of doing this. Right. So first, somebody asked about which screwdriver to use, or whatever. I'm just using a normal screwdriver, very normal, and it works perfectly. So first we'll just remove these 6 screws. These always come in very handy. Okay, when you got those 3 screws loosed, you can remove this and put that one side. Okay, now what I did in the previous video was I told you to move these wires out the way. Now, there's a much better way than that. First, remove this plug, then take these 4 screws out. Doing it this way, you'll have much less chance of damaging any wires. I find this to be easy to use. Okay, when you remove these now, you'll see the buttons are underneath here. See these here? Just put them all one side, they're going to fall out, but there's nothing you can do about that. Just keep them all together. You're the same on this side. They're all the same, so you don't need to worry about mixing them up. Another useful thing will be to loosen these 2 screws over here, which hold this wire in place. Just put this back in here so you don't lose it. I think it's this. Ah, Jesus. I think it's the same length as these. Yeah. Now, can you see there? Now you can work much easier just pulling these out the way. Okay, now normal style screwdriver again, you'll want to remove these 4 screws. Now, as I said in the previous video, you want to put some pressure. Now obviously I'm doing it like this for the video, but it's much easier to put the joystick between your legs and work that way. It just holds it much more sturdy, but I can't really film that way. So place your thumb in the middle, hold it down because there's a spring under here that will want to pop open, and unloosen these 4 screws. Do it diagonally. Do one on this side and one on this opposite end to loosen them evenly. Okay, when you get to the last two, you want to really start making sure you have it firmly in place with your thumb. If you let go, you'll see it will want to push back because of the spring. Okay, then carefully let it go. Make sure it's not hooking anything. One screw isn't completely loose. There we go. Okay, then carefully feed the wire through as you pull this back. Don't lose these screws. No idea where the other one went. There it is. Everything's sticky because of the silicone paste. Now, this one hasn't got the spring mod. But basically what you want to do for the spring mod is clamp this a bit smaller, like that, with cable ties. Very small cable ties. Now, I don't like doing it because you see you've got to do it evenly, so because you see the spring is square. If you take a line there and down the side, it's square. Also on this side. But if you have to clamp it, say we clamp on this side and this side here, you'll see it becomes not square anymore. Even if we do it here and here, it then becomes too short. So maybe if you do two opposite ends like this, but then it goes off center, you see. So the spring rod's a bit dodgy. I've done it on my one stick and it actually feels fine, but I'm still not happy with it. Alright, the loop, you want to put loop on the bottom here in these two brackets where the pivot rests on. I like to put a bit of lube at the bottom of the spring here, but I don't think it's necessary. Another good place will be here where the spring makes contact. On the inside over here you can put some lube, and on the outer rim over here. Now that ball within a ball that somebody mentioned on the comments was actually very easy to miss. You'll see now, here's your joystick. Okay, inside of this here you'll see this ball here can pull out, and it's incredibly important to put lube inside here, because this here, as your joystick moves around, that moves on the inside. So just pull that away, it's very easy, and put lube inside there on both sides. You can turn the joystick and put on this side also, and put it in there. Find an earbud works well. Okay, you'll see it's a bit much, it's squashed out here, it's fine. And then obviously finally you can just put some lube on this part of the ball here, like that. Let me just wipe my hands. It's always good to keep paper towel lying around when you're doing this. Now, when you put this thing back together, I find it easier. Obviously hold it between your legs so the joystick isn't up like that and it goes down where it should be. You can place this over there, like that, make sure it all goes into place. Then obviously look underneath the joystick and make sure it's facing the right direction. Okay, there we go. And then when you want to put this in, you'll see these two must line up with those two there. They fit into each other. So we'll do that now, and we'll just pull this cable through as we do it. Okay. And when you're ready, push down hard with your thumb till everything goes into place. There we go. Make sure your joystick is in place by trying to twist it. There we go, mine's in place. Keep it down with your thumb and put the 4 black screws back in. Once you've got the first 2 in, you really don't need to hold it anymore, they'll hold it in place. Remember, don't over tighten anything. That's why I'm using a small screwdriver. You don't have too much leverage, and you can feel very clearly when the screw wants to stop. Because once you've stripped it, you bug it. Okay. Just make sure these wires are free. Test the joystick, it's all working. Good. Can't turn left and right, you can't twist it. That's good, it means it's in the correct brackets. Then basically you want to put these back. Now, it looks complicated, it's really not. All you do is, when I first did this, I forgot to put these back and all my buttons were flopping about. And that was pretty annoying. So make sure you put these things in. All you want to do is put them, sorry, wrong way around. Like that. They do have these little grooves. Now how can you see this? On them, to help you put them back so that they stay there. It would also be a good idea not to get lube on these contact points because they might not work properly then. At this point, I'm going to apologize for the long video. I don't do editing or any of that nonsense, so it's just the raw video how I made it. Feel free to watch us. I hope you skip through all the boring parts. I have to do this. I can't do this while holding it. This must turn around. That must come free. What have I done? What am I continuing to do? Here we go. I really have made a ball ache for myself over here. Yes, I like that. Okay. There we go. Listen, I'm rushing this for video, but you must really take your time to make sure you don't damage anything. Aha! There we go. There we go. You'll see this here will go through this hole, and then the other side also. So you just line them up. There we go. Perfect. You see, it's gone flush here and flush here, so you know it's in the right place. Press your buttons, you can feel they're all clicky and they're working properly. While this does seem counterproductive, removing these circuit boards, it really does make it safer, because you can easily shear off these wires on both sides if you don't remove these. You see what I did now? I almost put it back without putting these things on. Fool me once. Okay. Make sure you're not pinching any wires. Back, check the buttons. And they're all working. Okay, and all we need to do is plug this here back. Check that all your wires are free. I like to just put this thing back quick. I really do apologize for the video quality, but this isn't what I do. I just enjoy playing my games. But when I wanted to re-grease this joystick, I had no idea what I was getting into. And hopefully, at least now you know what you're getting into before you open it up. Okay. Now these here, basically you want this to be able to have a little bit of movement over here, but it's not, just bunching it up like that is fine. Putting a piece of tape over. What I do is I make sure nothing's going to get pinched. I put them in the middle here just like that, and I put the cover back on. Now it is easier if you first remove your screws from here, otherwise you struggle to line the holes up. So we check, is anything going to pinch? No. Put it on. Perfect. And put the screws back in. You'll notice the camera quality is a bit better on this video, because my last video was made with the LG G3. It wasn't bad for the time. Now I'm using a Samsung S7, which I must say I've been incredibly happy with the camera. Let's use this a bit quicker. No leverage. I don't like working with my joystick on this hard surface. I should have put a blanket down or something first. Also wouldn't have slipped around as much. If you guys want to see, if you're all interested, I've made an incredibly DIY type fixture for these joysticks and my keyboard and mouse to fit to my chair, so that they don't move around and what have you. It's like a little shitty cockpit, but as cheap as it is, it works bloody well. I'll keep that little key. Alright, and there we go. And you just obviously wipe down any greasy finger marks when you're done. Yeah, you will find if you grease everything like this with silicone based grease or any plastic or rubber safe grease, you might not even want or need the spring rod, because it's a lot smoother. You don't get that little jerky movements like this when you try and move slowly. It's a lot smoother. You can get very precise movements without needing a lighter spring. So give it a try. Alright guys, good luck. How's it guys? I got a few questions on the site about a few different things about maintaining this joystick. So, rather than just skip now to those things, I found better ways of doing it. So I'm just going to start from the beginning and then rather follow this video than the other one, because there are better ways of doing this. Alright, so first, somebody asked about which screwdriver to use or whatever. I'm just using a normal screwdriver, very normal, and it works perfectly. So first we'll just remove these 6 screws. These always come in very handy. Okay, when you got those 3 screws loosed, you can remove this and put that one side. Okay, now what I did in the previous video was I told you to move these wires out the way. Now there's a much better way than that. First, remove this plug, then take these 4 screws out. Doing it this way, you'll have much less chance of damaging any wires. I find this to be easy to use.